Hello friends, and welcome to my very literal book corner. I hope you like it. I want to have someone to yap about my books to, and I don't have that, so I thought I would film me yapping about them. I hope I'm okay. I hope we can be friends. I don't know. I thought I would start off by going through all the books I read in September, seeing as it is the last day of the month. I'm recovering from a cold, so if I sound a bit off, that's why. Not that you'd know, but I sound a bit off, so we're just gonna brush past that. Okay, these are the 7 books that I've read this month. I hope you can see them all. This is a very small corner. That's actually kind of heavy. I've got my trusty bullet journal with me to kind of go through what I've put as the books and stuff so that you can actually see, because I've probably forgotten, so from looking down, that is why. Okay, so I started off this month reading Reckless. I am late to the reading party, I know. I did also genuinely buy this the day it came out. The fact that it's taken me this long to get to, a bit embarrassing. It was okay. I mean, with this one, so if you don't know, Reckless is the second book in the Powders trilogy by Lauren Roberts. And it's definitely like a filler book. I'm pretty sure the author said this when she announced and stuff, that it was more of a filler book than anything, and I'm glad that she did kind of preface with that, because I would be really disappointed if I did not know that going into this, just because there's a lot of running away, and then oh, Kai's there, and then oh, I'm running away again, oh, and then Kai's there again, you know? I'm a sucker for romance, so I literally ate every exchange they had up like a, I don't know what, like, I gave this 4 stars. But yeah, don't expect anything like extravagant to happen story-wise with this until you get to the end, because it is, I definitely think, just preparing you for the 3rd book in the series. So yeah, that was the first book that I read. It took me 8 days to read this, by the way, and I feel like it shouldn't have, but we're not gonna talk about it. After that, I was very worried because I have a large TBR that I'm trying to get through and struggling massively with, so I wanted to get some quick books just out of the way. So the next book that I picked up wasn't really like it was very much some light reading, and that is the Heartstopper Yearbook by Alice Oseman. I don't know if you can see them on my shelf or not, but I'm a bit obsessed with the Heartstopper series, and I cannot wait because on Thursday the next season comes out on Netflix, and I'm so excited. But yeah, I just haven't read this since I've gotten it, so I just thought 2 birds, 1 stone it, get this out of my TBR and also add it to the stats for this month. 5 stars because it's just Heartstopper, and I just love it. So if you've not read the Heartstopper series, take this as your sign to do so, because it's so good. So this past year I've been challenging myself with, like I said, getting through my TBR, and I got through a really bad period of time a couple of years back where I just was so excited to get all these books that people were recommending on like Book Talk. I just kind of bought like box sets, and just they've been sitting there, and one of those being Shatter Me. And luckily I think it was around last Christmas, I met up with my friend and she was saying, oh, have you read this yet? Like, you've got to read it. And I was like, oh, I actually own all the books and I haven't read a single one. That's embarrassing to say. So this year every month I've been reading 1 or 2 of the books just to kind of slowly make my way through it. So this month I picked up Shadow Me, which is one of the novellas in this teeny tiny little book here. I'll be honest, I can't really remember much of what happens in this. Kenji's point of view. I feel like the novellas, to me, are a bit pointless, but I own them, so I'm gonna read them. A solid 3 stars from me, just because, like I said, it's a novella. Nothing major happened, it was just giving you someone else's perspective for once. And also it's just like a way to kind of prep you for the next big book, which, funnily enough, I then picked up. Who would have thought? This book, I actually really like this book. This is Defy Me by Terry Maffey. Yeah, I definitely think, this might be an unpopular opinion, I don't know, the original Shatter Me trilogy, not my fave. However, Restore Me and Defy Me have both been 5-star reads for me. I really liked them, really liked where the story went with them. I don't know why I didn't like the first 3. I think it was a lot of nothing, I don't know. But yeah, if you're gonna read the series, it gets better, I promise. 5 stars from me. I really, really like this one. Just the drama. I love a bit of drama, and that's exactly what this book gave me. So the next book that I read is one of... Can you hear that? So every year I've been... At the start of this year, I swear every time I talk, this fucking crow. I can't. At the start of this year, I set myself a goal of reading 24 books for 2024. So I've been trying to pick 1 or 2 off to read every month, and this next book is off of that list, which felt like such an achievement. It shouldn't have, but it did. But it did. And that book is The Living Planet by David Attenborough. I love this man with my whole heart. Like, he can do no wrong. I feel like I will cry if he dies. Like, genuinely, I love him. So I bought this book, I think 2 years ago, and it's just been staring at me like, read me, Lydia, read me, please. And I just haven't. So I finally picked it up. I put it on my TBR for this month, and I'm so glad I did, because I finally got to get around to it. Only thing I didn't like about this book is the ant on the cover, because ants scare the living shit out of me. But otherwise, really good. Genuinely thought-provoking. If you don't know David Attenborough, first of all, how? Secondly, he basically just writes about the planet. This book specifically is a republished book from a book he wrote about a series from years ago, and he thought it was probably time to update it with, you know, the new scientific finds and stuff like that. It basically covers like all elements of the planet, so, you know, sea creatures, tectonic plates, volcanoes and stuff like that. It's non-fiction, if you haven't guessed. I'm a very visual person, so I find pictures in books just really make my day. I'm literally just like, look how cute these cats, I mean, they're not cats, they're leopards and leopards, but so cute. Yeah, if you ever want to learn about the planet, like, even now, it's been, what, week and a half since I finished this, and I still think about things I've learned in this book. It's definitely a slower read because it's non-fiction and it's so much information you have to take in, but I really liked it, and like, every now and then it's just a good palate cleanser, I feel, is just read some non-fiction. So I do like to kind of dip my toes in the water there a bit every now and then. And yeah, I gave this 5 stars again because David Attenborough. I don't really rate non-fiction, but I feel like I've given all the other books ratings, so I have to. You literally can't really judge it because it's just factual, but love it. If you like David Attenborough and you want to learn something, I'm just saying. The 6th book that I read this month is one, again, that I bought ages ago and I just didn't get round to because I am like the queen of procrastinating. Like, I'm sorry, I just am. I feel like I'm gonna sound so stupid for saying this, but I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think most people here, if you're watching this, can agree that her books are just good. Like, the concepts she comes up with are just like some of the most creative things. I've always stated myself as a fan, and I go, oh yeah, I own all her books, including the backlog, but I've never read those. Finally, picked one up. Get me, woohoo! And that is Forever Interrupted. I added this to my currently reading on Goodreads and Story graph and read some of the reviews, and they're quite low. So I definitely went into this with very low expectations, but I really liked it. It follows a girl called Elsie who kind of gets into a very insular relationship and they've eloped very, very quickly. And then suddenly her new husband dies. This isn't me spoiling it, by the way, it's literally on the blurb of the book. But yeah, it basically follows her navigating that and her suddenly meeting her mother-in-law, whom she never even met, and also never even knew her son was married. So, as you can imagine, it gets a bit awkward. But no, I really like this book. It's got a dual timeline, so it kind of gives you, throughout the book, you get chapters from Elsie and her husband Ben meeting eventually until, you know, when they get married, and it ends there. And then it splits between that and her grieving her husband and trying to navigate this, you know, her life after him, and then also befriending Susan, her mother-in-law, on the way. And it's honestly quite beautiful. Like, I've never experienced like a direct death, thankfully. I don't actually know what it's like, but something about this just was really gorgeous. So definitely a bit controversial compared to the ratings I've seen on it, but I really liked it. And if you do want to try her backlog, obviously there's ones like One True Loves, which is a bit more popular, and I think is it a film now or a show? I can't remember. But this one, I would recommend. Like, it's not the most groundbreaking thing, but it is just kind of just gives you an insight to some really beautiful relationships, I feel. So I gave this one 4 stars, and I have no regrets. I love her. Following on from my goal of reading 24 books in 2024, another one on the list is one that I've had since, I think I got Christmas time last year. I got the box set of this series because I've been dying to read it. And of course, me being me, have kept putting it off because I'm literally just a girl. That's just what I do. And that book is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is book 1 in the Mortal Instruments series. Took me a second there. I really liked it. It's fantasy, a little sprinkling of romance, not too much in this one, but apparently it does get more romancy the further into the series you get. But honestly, it didn't need it. Like, the plot in this was so different to the other fantasy books I've read-ish. It doesn't really touch on fate, it's more like vampires, werewolves, demons, what are they called? Warlocks, more that sort of stuff. I've only seen a few episodes of Charmed, but it definitely gives off those vibes. I could imagine characters in the few episodes of Charmed that I've seen in this book. It's set in New York, which is really fun. I do love me a bit of New York. Never been, but love me a bit of New York. And it follows a girl called Clary. Like Clary Sage, short for Clarissa, but I'm not going Clary, I'm going Clary. I could be wrong. And she basically starts seeing these people that her friend Simon cannot see, and it turns out, you know, they're from this other world, and it just kind of follows her discovering that, and the dramas that comes with it, basically. I don't want to go too much into it without spoiling it if you've not read it. But if that sounds loosely like it might be up your street, I'd definitely recommend giving this book a go. It was really freaking good. I've literally finished this just before I started filming, funnily enough, so I have not set on a certain star rating yet, but if I have one when I'm editing this, I will put it on the screen so that you can see. Yeah, I really like this book. Like, I'm definitely excited to kind of read the rest of the series now and kind of see what will happen from there, where things will go, because it's definitely left off on a point that's good to end a book, but also a good way to introduce you to the rest of the series. So I will definitely be, hopefully you guys will be seeing more of these books in my wrap-ups to come. So that concludes all the books, please don't follow me, all the books that I read this month. I hope you kind of enjoyed me really badly explaining them. Hopefully I will get better. But obviously, like I said, this is like just a space I want to use to yap about things, because I just talk to myself a lot anyway. So if you have any recommendations for books I can read that are similar to those ones, please do let me know. Obviously, I am on a book buying ban, but I fail it most months anyway. So yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want to see, obviously. And yeah, I shall see you next time. Bye. That's really hot.